The Dearborn Independent, March 12, 1921, number 20. Mr. Ford's page. The emphasis on harmony in business organizations is all wrong. It is not necessary for men to like each other in order to work together. Be guided too much by your likes and dislikes, and you will grow soft and flabby. Do things you don't like to do, work with people you don't like, and you will find it bracing. A little honest friction is necessary to the production of power. An organization can be so harmonious that it has neither the wisdom nor the courage to prune away its own dead wood. Some groups use up all their energy getting along with each other instead of unifying themselves by pooling their energies in order to get along toward their goal. Harmony in human relations is a byproduct of teamwork on a job toward an objective. Harmony that does not strike fire occasionally is only for mollycoddles. Pity the poor fellow who is so soft and flabby that he must always have an atmosphere of good feeling around him before he can do his work. There are such men. They produce with a sort of hothouse fervor while they are being coddled, but the moment the atmosphere chills and becomes critical, they become perfectly helpless. And in the end, unless they obtain enough mental and moral hardiness to lift them out of their soft reliance on feeling, they are failures. Not only are they business failures, they are character failures also. It is as if their bones never attained a sufficient degree of hardness to enable them to stand on their own feet. There is altogether too much reliance on good feeling in our business organizations. People have too great a liking for working with the people they like. In the end, it spoils a good many valuable qualities. Don't misunderstand. When the term good feeling is used, it means that habit of making our personal likes and dislikes on purely affinitive and emotional grounds the sole standard of judgment. Suppose you don't like that man. Is that anything against him? It may be something against you. What has your like or dislike to do with the facts anyway? If you are a man of common sense, you must know that there is many a man whom you dislike, whom you must admit is better than yourself. When you were a lazy young fellow, you probably disliked the boss who tried to keep you busy. When you were a careless, wasteful young sport, you probably disliked the wise old head who took you aside and told you how many kinds of a fool you were. When you got into business and settled into a rut, you probably disliked the progressive fellow who came along with some live-wire competition and made you get out and hustle again. But what do these dislikes show? Simply what you were. That ought to be enough to make you careful to remember that your dislike always tells more about you than it does about the other fellow. Your dislike may be wrong about the other fellow. It is perfectly unmistakable in what it says concerning you. Now, if you are one of those easygoing people who prefer to have a certain type of persons around you, just that type and no other, it is a sign of which you ought to take notice. There is a dangerous psychology in having only agreeable people around you. It is too much like a man reclining on cushions all the time. Some men like to have around them women who understand them, and men who agree with them, and friends who will always defer to them, and a public that will always say, bravo, no matter what is done. The worst of it is, a man can have just these things if he wants them, but they leave him without gristle and marrowbone in the end. You can have far too much harmony, especially in business. You can go too far in picking men because they harmonize with you in your nature. You can have so much harmony that there will not be any of the thrust and counter-thrust, which means life, any of the competition or friction, which means effort and progress. It is one thing for an organization to be working harmoniously toward one object, but it is another thing for an organization to work harmoniously with each individual unit of itself. Some organizations use up so much energy and time maintaining a feeling of harmony in themselves that they have no force left to work toward the object for which the organization was created. The organization is secondary to the object. The only harmonious organization that is worth anything is an organization which is all bent on the one main purpose, not to get along with itself, but to get along toward the objective. A common purpose, honestly believed in, sincerely desired. That is the great harmonizing principle. Now, if John Smith does not like James Jones, what does that matter? The main question is, does James Jones know his business? Can he advance this program toward its objective? Away with personalities. This trivial, unexplainable temper which turns to likes on one hand and to dislikes on the other. This apparently unreasonable and irresponsible influence of attraction and repulsion. These are stray mental phenomena which may have reasons and meanings in some spheres of our being, but the man who allows such feelings to be the sole judge of men and the sole determinant of his comfort in working with men is certainly laying out trouble for himself. The whole matter of harmony has been overemphasized, not only overemphasized, but wrongly based. Everybody has the idea that harmony means the various units of the organization getting along well with each other, after the manner of guests at a party. But that is not the basis of the harmony that achieves. The only basis for effective organizational harmony is a common belief in a common cause. A certain amount of friction is a good thing everywhere, not antagonism, for that is waste, not jealousy, for that is infantile stupidity, not a selfish and unprincipled cutting under of another fellow, but frank, open understanding that on this job at least we stand for what we are and nothing more. Everybody knows of businesses where fellows are being held up through friendship. The staff thinks that so-and-so is a good fellow, or the boss likes him, or he maintains a sort of position because he is easy to get along with. But what about the business? For everybody thus being held up, someone is doing the holding up, and the business is burdened to hold up both of them. An organization can be so perfectly harmonious that it has lost the power and the courage to prune itself of its own dead limbs. An organization can be so perfectly harmonious that its only salvation depends on someone coming in and making it work with people it doesn't like, and making it do work that it doesn't like. In short, making it amount to something by doing what it doesn't like. Don't do all the things you like to do, and do most of the things you don't like to do. And then you will become a character strong enough to step out and accomplish things with men whom you don't like and who possibly don't like you. The young man, especially the young businessman, had better put this like stuff away from him entirely. It is as enervating as lolling among cushions all day. The wise manager will get most of his work done through men whom he doesn't like and who may not like him. All that is necessary is for him to know and respect their ability and dependability. Men who know will agree with this. There is a stronger bond between men who respect each other for their strong qualities than there is among men who like each other for their merely amiable qualities. How would you measure a man's value? You reply, by what he is worth, not by what you think of him, that is, not by how you react to his personality in liking or dislike. No, very well. If that is the rule you follow, you will not be likely to do an injustice to your fellow man by misjudging him, nor to do an injustice to yourself by fortifying the always human tendency to unreasonable prejudices. If you feel yourself getting soft and ineffectual, get out where there will be no sympathy, no understanding, no admiration, but just plain challenge to do what is in you. That will brace you up.